My 5-year-old daughter found a photo of the reigning movie star's dead wife on the set of a reality show, and she refused to give it back to him. She pointed to the picture and asked, "Do you know her? She was my beloved wife. She passed away." His eyes were red as he pleaded with her. "Sweetie, can you please give the photo back to me?" The camera zoomed in, and I saw a picture of myself. I was 20 years old then, and more in love with Julian Booth than anyone. My daughter got angry, scolding him fiercely. "Are you just making up mean lies? This is my mommy in the picture, and she's not dead." Julian froze. "What did you say? She's your mother?" My best friend, Nancy, is an actress who's mostly famous for being pretty. 6 months ago, she pissed off some powerful people at the studio and got quietly blacklisted. Her agent couldn't bear to give up on her and tried everything, but hit a dead end at every turn. Finally, by pulling every string he had, he managed to land her a guest spot on a reality show with kids. He told her this was her one chance at a comeback and she had to nail it. Nancy's lip trembled, and she started crying with gratitude. She asked for my opinion, saying she wanted to take Maddie with her. Maddie is my 5-year-old daughter. I agreed. But Maddie didn't. With her sweet, angelic face, she patted her godmother's shoulder like a wise old woman. "Aunt Nancy, I'm so happy you got a job. But I'm just too busy right now, so I'm going to have to politely decline." Nancy rolled her eyes, annoyed. "Too busy with what?" I smiled gently. "Maddie, do you have some plans you haven't told us about?" Maddie looked at me and said seriously, "Even though Aunt Nancy needs my help, I think Mommy needs me more. Mommy is still sick, so I have to stay home and take care of her. And if you get sick again, I can call 911 for you really fast." I froze. My mind flashed back to 2 weeks ago. My illness had flared up suddenly. My nose started bleeding, and my whole body ached so much that I collapsed on the floor, unable to move. When Maddie found me, she called 911 right away. The sight of me covered in blood must have terrified her. For several nights afterward, she'd wake up from nightmares, crying and clinging to my neck. While I was getting treatment at the hospital, Maddie was playing in the hallway outside my room. Suddenly, a patient from the room next door was wheeled out, their body covered by a white sheet. Their family was wailing beside them. Maddie had seen it on TV before. She knew the person lying there was dead. She thought I was going to die, too. The little one immediately ran back to me, hugged me tight, and sobbed, begging me not to die, not to leave her. She was so scared, she wouldn't let go. She was afraid that if she did, I would die. I told her I wasn't going to die. I just had a serious illness that would take a long time to treat. She believed me. Every day, she made sure I ate all my food and took my medicine. After I took my pills, she would unwrap a piece of candy from her special stash for me. Blinking her big, dark, beautiful eyes, she'd ask in her sweet little voice, "Mommy, does the candy make the bitter taste go away?" I'd nod and say gently, "Yes, it's not bitter anymore." A sharp pain lanced through my heart as the lie escaped my lips. I wasn't talking about the candy. I was talking about my illness. I reassured Maddie that my condition was stable and I wouldn't have another sudden attack. I told her she could go film the show with her godmother and not worry about me. The little one finally agreed. I opened a suitcase to help her pack, but she refused. She sighed like a little adult and said with resignation, "Mom, I'm 5, not 3. I have hands and feet. I can do this myself." She pulled me over to the sofa to sit down, then lectured me. "Mommy, I'm still worried about you. You're still a patient. You have to get lots of rest and take your medicine on time, okay? I really hope you get better soon, Mommy." She's so mature. But I never taught her to be this way. I wish my illness could be cured. But I know that hope is destined to be crushed. I won't even make it to Maddie's 6th birthday. Kids on the Go was a reality show that followed celebrities and their children, streamed live 24/7. To boost ratings, the director invited some of the hottest stars in the entertainment industry. There was also a mystery guest, rumored to be a superstar of superstars. They supposedly spent most of their budget just to get him. In the end, because they were short on funds, they agreed at the last minute to let Nancy join to fill out the cast. Netizens were buzzing, trying to guess who the mystery guest was. Theories were flying everywhere. Someone guessed it was the A-list actor Julian Booth. The comment was flooded with replies. Believing the mystery guest is Julian Booth is like believing I'm Santa Claus. To everyone's complete shock, the mystery guest actually was Julian Booth. At that moment, Maddie was texting me from her smartwatch. "Mommy, are you watching me on the live stream?" When she looked up, she saw Nancy staring intently at Julian. The little one blinked, then sidled up to her and asked in her sweet voice, "Aunt Nancy, he's way cuter than the guys with six-packs on your phone. You've been staring for a while. You must really like him, right? Hold on, I'll go ask him for you." Before Nancy could react, Maddie was already trotting over to Julian on her little legs. She looked up at him and pointed to the little boy next to him, asking sweetly, "Mister, is this your son?" Julian crouched down, smiled warmly, and said, "No, this is my nephew." Maddie's eyes lit up. She asked again, "Then do you have a girlfriend?" Julian paused, then chuckled. "No girlfriend." Maddie's eyes shone even brighter as she asked if he would be willing to sit next to them. Julian agreed. Maddie sat next to Julian like a little fangirl, all sweet. "Mister, how tall are you?" 6'3". "Mister, do you have a six-pack?" Julian paused. "Yes, I do." "Why?" Maddie didn't answer him. Instead, she turned to Nancy with a dramatic expression. "Aunt Nancy, he doesn't have a girlfriend, has no kids, he's 6'3", has a six-pack, he's handsome, and he even smells nice. He's a real catch. If you like him, you should make a move. An opportunity like this doesn't come around twice." Nancy's face instantly turned bright red. She wished the ground would swallow her whole. Maddie thought she was just being shy and coached her like a tiny adult. "Don't be shy, Aunt Nancy. You have to be brave and say what you feel." "Oh, forget it. I'll help you." She turned back to Julian. "Mister, my Aunt Nancy likes you. Would you be willing to be my uncle-in-law?" Julian was taken aback, then he smiled and said, "I'm sorry. I don't have a girlfriend, but I have a wife whom I love very much." Just then, a name appeared in the live chat, Lainey Jones. Lainey Jones. Everyone knows Julian Booth's one true love is his wife, Lainey Jones. If you don't know how much Julian Booth loves Lainey Jones, you should check out his side account, Forever Lainey. It's filled with his longing and love for his wife. If you don't know who Lainey Jones is, let me tell you, she was Julian Booth's wife, and he has loved her every single day since she passed away. Julian Booth's side account, Forever Lainey, is full of proof of his love for her. Julian Booth's love is so out in the open. He really, really loves Lainey Jones. During an interview once, Julian Booth was asked if he had someone he liked. He said he was already married and loved his wife very much. The host asked if he had anything he wanted to say to his wife. His eyes welled up with tears, and his voice cracked as he said, "Lainey Jones, I love you. Can you please visit me in my dreams, just once?" After that day, everyone knew about Julian Booth's wife, Lainey Jones. And everyone knew she had passed away long ago. Not long after, netizens discovered that the social media account Forever Lainey was Julian's private account. It had thousands of posts, filled with their memories and his almost obsessive love for her. The love was so deep, so intense, it felt like it could break through the screen. He said he would love Lainey Jones forever. Netizens said that perhaps even Lainey Jones herself never knew just how much Julian Booth loved her. But what they didn't know was this. Before Lainey Jones died, Julian Booth did not love her. He never publicly acknowledged her as his wife. almost no one even knew her name. But after Lainey Jones died, everyone knew her name. It's pretty funny, actually. I closed my phone, and my gaze fell on the patient information card on the bedside table. It read, Lainey Jones, female, oncology. I'm not dead yet. 6 years ago, my health played a cruel joke on me. 6 years later, it chose me again. The doctor said that if I actively undergo treatment, I have about 6 months. 6 months is too short. I'm greedy. I want to live longer. I want to celebrate Maddie's 6th birthday with her. I want to watch her grow up. I stopped watching the live stream and was taken for a full body scan. After the scan, I was put on an 4 drip. I'd hired a caregiver, so after the 4 was in, I drifted off to sleep. When I woke up, I turned on my phone and saw a voice message from Maddie. Mommy, it's time to eat and take your medicine. I put the candy jar next to your pillbox. Did you see it? After you take your medicine, have a piece of candy so it won't be bitter. Hello, hello. Mommy, Mommy, please answer if you can hear me. I pressed the record button and said softly. Okay, Mommy has already taken her medicine. Then, I opened the live stream for the reality show. As soon as it loaded, I saw the live chat was full of people criticizing Maddie. Ugh, this stubborn kid. Can't she just give the photo back to Julian Booth? Who is Maddie's mom? How could she raise a child like this? She found something that isn't hers and won't return it. She's trying to keep it. I can't believe this. Julian Booth was going crazy looking for that photo, only to find out Maddie has it and won't give it back. What photo? A picture of Julian Booth's late wife, Lainey Jones. My heart skipped a beat. Maddie found my photo? On the screen, Julian was crouching in front of Maddie, coaxing her gently. Maddie, this photo belongs to me. Can you please give it back? Maddie clutched the photo and refused to let go. How can you prove it's yours? She pointed to the picture. Do you even know her? She was my beloved wife. She passed away. His eyes reddened as he pleaded, can you please give the photo back to me? It's the only picture she left me. The camera zoomed in, and I saw a picture of myself. I was 20 years old then, and more in love with Julian Booth than anyone. And just then, Maddie got furious, pointing at Julian and scolding him. Are you just making up mean lies? The person in this photo is my mommy, and she's not dead. Julian froze. What did you say? I said she's my mommy. Spreading false rumors is illegal. I'm going to call the police and stand up for my mom. As she spoke, Maddie started fiddling with her smartwatch. But in the next second, Julian suddenly grabbed her shoulders and asked urgently, is your mother Lainey Jones? Just then, Maddie's hand slipped and she accidentally opened her photo album. It was filled with pictures of me and her together. Julian saw them. The breath caught in my throat, and my heart plummeted. My mind went blank. Back then, I truly believed I was dying. Before I left, I got rid of everything that had to do with me. I only left 3 things for Julian. My cancer diagnosis report, the papers from my abortion, and a suicide note. After that, I found a small, beautiful town. I decided to spend my final days there. Later, the hospital informed me it had been a misdiagnosis. Then I heard he was looking for me, driving himself mad. He didn't believe I was dead. So, I had someone mail him a box of ashes. At that moment, I decided I would never appear in front of Julian Booth again. I would let him believe I was truly dead. I just never expected. Just then, Julian, visibly agitated, asked Maddie. How old are you? When's your birthday? Maddie bared her teeth like a fierce little kitten. You're a bad guy. Why should I tell you? Julian immediately turned to the director off camera and asked. The director answered truthfully, according to our records, Maddie is 5 and a half. Her birthday is March 16th. After hearing this, Julian muttered something to himself. Then he asked Maddie again, "Are you her biological daughter?" Maddie was silent for 2 seconds, then she completely lost it. "Are you a dummy or something? If I'm not my mommy's real daughter, am I your mommy's real daughter?" She twisted violently, breaking free from his grasp. She stomped away on her little legs and stared at Julian like he was an idiot. "My mommy told me to stay away from idiots. But since you're an idiot, I won't call the police on you for spreading rumors about my mom. Just don't do it again, okay? And this photo belongs to my mommy, so I'm not giving it back to you." But Julian just looked at Maddie and suddenly smiled. A wide, happy smile. He said, "Maddie, you're my child. I'm your father." Hearing those words, I jolted. Overwhelmed with emotion, I instinctively retorted, "No." But in the next second, an intense pain shot through my left hand without warning. A wave of agony spread from my left hand to my right, from my spine down to my legs. It felt like nails were being hammered into my bones, twisting deeper and deeper with every turn of a screwdriver. I gritted my teeth, trying my best to endure it. I didn't have the presence of mind to call for my caregiver. There was only one thought in my head. Call Nancy. She wasn't with Maddie right now. I had no idea where she'd gone. The show's production team hadn't confiscated the guests' phones, and there was no rule against answering calls. My hand trembled as I dialed her number. In the 10 seconds I waited for her to pick up, I held my breath, as if starving myself of oxygen could lessen the pain. "Hello, Lainey." At that moment, a trickle of fluid ran from my nose, staining the bedsheet red. The taste of blood filled my throat. I forced myself to speak. "Nancy, Maddie is with Julian right now. He saw a picture of me and her. You have to find them. Tell Julian that Maddie isn't his child. Go now." As soon as I finished, I hung up. My hand shook, and the phone fell to the floor. My caregiver, hearing the noise, came out of the bathroom. She gasped and immediately pressed the call button, yelling for a doctor. Pain. It hurt so much. I curled into a ball, my teeth clenched, every inch of my body feeling as if it were being carved out by a blunt knife. I couldn't breathe, couldn't make a sound. As my vision blurred, I saw the doctors rushing in. I woke up the next day. My caregiver's name is Maria. She told me my phone had fallen and the screen had cracked. Not long after I passed out, Maddie had called. Following my prior instructions, Maria told Maddie that I had joined a tour group and gone on a trip. She said she was a fellow traveler. She told Maddie that my phone had accidentally broken and that I had asked her to get it repaired, so I wouldn't be able to contact her for a while. Maddie believed her. After hanging up, Maria placed my phone on the table. But it wasn't secure, and the phone fell again, the screen going completely black. It wouldn't turn on. Maria was very apologetic and offered to pay for half of the repair costs. I didn't blame her and just asked her to take it out to be fixed. The phone was repaired 3 days later. I couldn't wait to turn it on and check the reality show's live stream. But all I saw was a suspension notice. Dear viewers, we regret to inform you that Kids on the Go has been temporarily suspended due to unforeseeable circumstances. The broadcast will resume at a later date. What happened? Just as I was wondering and about to call Nancy, a trending news notification popped up on my phone. Reality show suspended. The reason is Julian Booth. I tapped it without thinking. The screen jumped to X, where a paparazzi account had posted under the hashtag Julian Booth's wife is not dead. A source from the show's staff has revealed that Julian Booth was the one who halted the production. He is keeping Maddie and Nancy at the show's villa. The reason is simple: he wants to see Lainey Jones but has found that she is intentionally avoiding him. So he's using this method to force her to meet him. As for why Lainey Jones faked her death and ran off while pregnant to deceive Julian Booth, the reason remains unclear. My heart seized. I immediately called Nancy. The call connected. My face was pale as I asked urgently. Nancy, I saw online that the show was suspended and that you and Maddie are being held at the villa. Is that true? It's true, Nancy said slowly. Lainey, I told Julian that Maddie is your child with someone else, but he doesn't believe me. He had the director use our contracts against us, saying we have to follow the show's arrangements, to keep us here. Julian said you have to come and get us yourself. I was silent for a moment. I took a deep breath, composed myself, and then said softly. Okay, I understand. How's Maddie? Was she scared? Nancy said, Maddie doesn't know anything. She just thinks the show was suspended because of an accident. She's really worried about you, though. She was just asking why your phone isn't fixed yet. But she's asleep now. Lainey, don't worry about us. We're fine here. She paused, her voice choking up. You just focus on your chemo and take care of yourself. My heart twisted into a knot. I fought back my emotions and whispered. Okay, I know. The reality show was being filmed in another city. I was in the middle of chemotherapy and couldn't interrupt it. So I couldn't go get them. After hanging up, I noticed I had over 100 missed calls. About 20 of them were from Maddie. The rest were all from Julian. His number, I'd memorized it years ago. It was burned into my memory. I stared at it for a long time. My heart was tearing itself apart. Finally, I dialed his number. The familiar ringtone played for a long time. Just before it was about to disconnect, Julian answered. But he didn't say anything. Julian, it's Lainey Jones. My voice was soft, a little weak. He let out a quiet ahem. I opened my mouth, but suddenly I didn't know what to say. After a long silence, I heard Julian ask me. Lainey, is there anything you want to say to me? I finally spoke slowly. Yes. Maddie is not your child. I can't come get them right now. Can you please let them come back? Julian's anger flared. He spat through gritted teeth. Damn you, Lainey. You should have stayed dead. You lied to me for so long just to get revenge. What? Still not satisfied? You're going to keep lying to me? You're not coming because you're afraid to face me. Fine, then you'll never see either of them again. In a moment of panic, I blurted out, don't. Julian, you can't do this. Julian laughed, a cold, harsh sound. He spoke in the gentlest tone, but his words were the cruelest. There's nothing I can't do, as long as I want to. Lainey, don't push me over the edge. You know what I'm capable of when I snap. I froze. Gradually, I calmed down and tried to explain. Julian, I never wanted to get revenge on you. He cut me off. Lainey, I don't want to hear your damn explanations over the phone. I said nothing. After a silent standoff, I gave in. I said, I can explain in person, but I get to decide the time and place. Julian agreed. I was the child my biological father, James, had with another woman before he was married. The moment I was born, I was left on the Jiang family's doorstep. He was ashamed. He wasn't even married yet and already had a child. Besides, he'd been so reckless back then, he had no idea who the child's mother was. He wanted to get rid of me. It was my grandmother who cursed him out and insisted on keeping me. Later, he married a woman from a wealthy family. And I, living with my grandmother, had a few good years. When I was 8, my grandmother got sick and passed away. From then on, my life was nothing but suffering and bitterness. James ignored me, and his wife abused me. She would frequently cry and claim that I was bullying my younger brother and sister. James would fly into a rage, curse at me, whip me with a belt, and forbid me from eating. Their children treated me like a slave and took pleasure in tormenting me. In the winter, they would pour cold water on me and in my bed. In the summer, they'd douse me with feces and urine. James knew I was being abused, but he never stopped them. Instead, He told me to hide my scars, to not let anyone see them, to not bring him shame. The place I most wanted to be was school. The place I most feared was home. Because home was filled with monsters. But later, monsters appeared at school too. They wore the same uniform as me, but they would rip and tear my clothes off. They slapped me, laughed at the scars on my body, and called me a slut. A young girl walked through this world alone, scrambling, running, jumping, all by herself. She couldn't escape those monsters. She felt the world was full of malice toward her. She didn't want to live anymore. Numbly, she jumped off a bridge. Perhaps even heaven thought her life was too hard, so it sent a god to save her. The god jumped into the river and pulled her out. Everyone knew about the girl who jumped off the bridge. Her father beat her mercilessly, but the god appeared and saved her again. She moved with her father, and the god became her neighbor. When her siblings bullied her, the god protected her. When she was bullied at school, the god stood up for her and arranged for her to transfer. He said, "From now on, I'm Lainey Jones's bodyguard. Let's see who dares to bully her now." He said, "Lainey, I'll always be with you." He said, "Stay with me. Don't get lost." In everyone else's eyes, he was someone not to be messed with. He was the arrogant, rebellious heir to the Booth fortune, who looked down on everyone. In the young girl's eyes, he was the god who had saved her from fire and flood time and time again. And so, the young girl fell in love with her god. Under my god's protection, I was no longer bullied or abused. So, they decided to get rid of me. At James's wife's birthday party, they framed me for stealing a guest's belongings. James was utterly humiliated and nearly beat me to death. It was Julian who carried me away in front of everyone and took me to the hospital. After that, he asked his grandmother to intervene and propose adopting me from James. James agreed without a second thought. He cast me aside like a piece of baggage. And later, I became the baggage that Julian couldn't shake. Julian was handsome and came from a good family, so he was very popular at school. Countless girls confessed their feelings to him every day. Annoyed, he used me as a shield, telling everyone I was his girlfriend. Back then, everyone knew how protective he was of me. Hearing him say that, they immediately understood. They teased him, saying he was raising me to be his wife. He didn't deny it. He just looked at me, smiled, and said, "Yeah, I'll marry her after graduation." At the time, everyone took his joke seriously. Until later, when Julian fell in love with Lindsay. She was clean, beautiful, kind-hearted, and resilient. When Julian pursued her, she called him a scumbag, saying he already had a girlfriend but was still hitting on her. So, Julian started to distance himself from me, telling me to stay away from him. Lindsay then deliberately arranged to meet me, setting it up so Julian would walk in on us. She cried to Julian, claiming I had threatened her and told her to stay away from him. Julian believed her. Lindsay put a gift Julian had given her into my backpack and accused me of stealing it. Julian believed her. When rumors spread that Lindsay was being seen getting out of a luxury car, suggesting she was a sugar baby, Lindsay accused me of starting them. Julian believed her. Lindsay orchestrated many such incidents. Each time, I tried desperately to prove my innocence, denying I had done any of those things. Sometimes I succeeded, sometimes I didn't. But every single time, Julian took Lindsay's side. Julian was deeply in love with Lindsay, wanting to give her the best of everything in the world. But Lindsay broke up with him and went abroad. Out of spite, Julian married me. We had a wedding ceremony, but we never got legally married. Not long after the wedding, he was in a car accident and lost his sight. He became withdrawn and irritable. I stayed by his side, cared for him, encouraged him, and kept him company. After he regained his sight, I noticed he seemed to be falling for me. He no longer hated me or treated me coldly. He would gently coax me to sleep and wake me up. He would call me Lainey in a doting voice, act cute with me, and ask for kisses. As we were tangled together in the dark one night, I asked him if he loved me. He leaned close to my ear and whispered, "Lainey, have a baby with me." I thought that even though he didn't say it outright, he must have loved me a little. Until Lindsay came back to the country, found him, and claimed she had been drugged and needed his help. He carried her away in front of everyone, leaving me behind. That night, they didn't go to the hospital. They went to a hotel. The next day, I received a photo from Lindsay. She was lying next to him in bed, his arm wrapped tightly around her waist. When Maddie found out my phone was fixed, she immediately sent me a video call request. The moment I answered, I heard her sweet, childish voice. "Hello, hello. Mommy, can you hear me?" "I can hear you." Hearing my voice, Maddie couldn't hide her happiness. "Mommy, I can finally reach you. I was starting to think your phone wasn't broken, but that you'd been scammed and shipped off somewhere." I said gently, "It's all Mommy's fault for making you worry. How about Mommy apologizes to you?" Maddie let out a little humph and said like a grown-up, "We're mother and daughter. No need for apologies. But you really don't make it easy for people to not worry about you. You went on a trip without even telling me beforehand, especially when you're still sick. So, did you have fun these past few days? Did you miss me?" My heart melted. My baby is a complete angel. Of course Mommy missed you. You're Mommy's most adorable baby, after all. Maddie giggled and said in her sweet voice, "Mommy, I'm happy to hear you missed me. But don't miss me too much, and definitely don't cry because you miss me, okay?" I smiled and promised, "Okay, Mommy will remember." Actually, Maddie missed Mommy a lot too. The little one hadn't talked to me in days, and now her little mouth was chattering non-stop. "Mommy, I met an uncle. He's super handsome, but it's like he traded his brains for his looks. So he looks handsome, but he's a dummy. He got your picture from somewhere and said you were his beloved wife, and that you died a long time ago. He even asked if I was your real daughter and said he was my daddy. Don't you think he's a little crazy?" After she finished, I said calmly, "But Maddie, it's not right to call people a dummy to their face or to gossip about them behind their back." Nancy chimed in, "That's right. Didn't I teach you? A child's manners are a parent's pride." Maddie realized her mistake and apologized. "I'm sorry. I won't do it again." I asked my doctor for a 3-hour leave. I arranged to meet Julian at a coffee shop. When I got out of the taxi, I didn't notice a bicycle coming up behind me. The moment I stepped out, I was hit. Caught completely off guard, my body tipped backward. In that instant, my mind went blank. I don't know who it was, but someone appeared behind me, wrapped an arm around my waist, and steadied me. I barely managed to stand up, still shaken. Just as I was about to turn, I heard Julian's familiar voice right by my ear. "Lainey, you're so thin. Are you starving yourself?" I froze and whipped my head around. For a moment, our eyes met. Julian's eyes were dark and turbulent, like a stormy night. He stared at me, saying each word deliberately. "Lainey Jones, you're really something else. You orchestrated this whole elaborate hoax just to get back at me. 3 pieces of paper, a cancer diagnosis, an abortion record, and a suicide note, made me truly believe I had lost you, lost our child. You made me feel guilty, repentant, and live in agony for 6 years. You still don't think that's enough, do you? Is it because you also suffered, raising a child all alone, that you refuse to see me?" Faced with his accusations, I remained calm. "Julian, let's go inside and talk." Inside the coffee shop, Julian and I sat facing each other. My heart was as calm as still water. "Julian, I never wanted to get revenge on you." I looked at him, my expression calm and serious. "Whether you believe it or not, I really was diagnosed with cancer back then. At that time, you only had eyes for Lindsay, so I chose to have an abortion and leave. Later, the hospital told me it was a misdiagnosis, and I heard you were looking for me. So I sent you the ashes. My only intention was to make you stop looking for me. Julian stared at me, his eyes holding the heavy stillness before a storm. Lainey, you're still lying to me, aren't you? You loved me so much. For so many years, you couldn't bear to leave me. Even when you thought you were dying, you had an abortion and left me. When you found out it was a misdiagnosis and that I was looking for you, you would have come back to me without a second thought. Why didn't you want me to find you? Why didn't you come back after I publicly declared my love for you? Why, when everyone knew I loved you, did you still refuse to come to me? Once, Julian was family and my beloved. He was the pillar that supported me. He was the God who appeared in my gray world. I chased after him desperately, trying with all my might to make my God see me. Habit is a terrifying thing. I had loved him for so long that he had become a part of my life, a habit I couldn't break. Later, I thought I had finally moved my God. He had finally fallen in love with me. It wasn't until Lindsay came back that I understood. Everyone has their own fate. The one who seeks love gives their all, holding nothing back, throwing themselves into it without a care. But if you're not meant to be loved, no amount of self-deception will change that. Because I saw how you were when you loved Lindsay. I knew how much you loved her. Because I saw myself trailing behind you, pathetically begging for your love. Because I wanted to forget you. I wanted to walk a path that didn't include you. I looked into his eyes, devoid of any emotion. Julian was stunned, his expression one of disbelief. After what felt like an eternity. His Adam's apple bobbed uncontrollably as he slowly spoke. What, did you say? I took a sip of lukewarm water and said flatly. Julian, the three of us were entangled for so many years. If you were going to love me, you would have loved me long ago. You only ever believed Lindsay, never me. You only ever saw me when you were angry with Lindsay, when you were trying to spite her. You married me out of spite, and you didn't legally marry me because you promised her that only her name would be on your marriage certificate. Julian's expression faltered for a second, and he rushed to explain. But for the past few years, you're the only one I've thought about. I really have fallen in love with you. I shook my head, my face expressionless. No, Julian. You're probably just deceiving yourself. You were just used to me always being by your side, loving you, accompanying you, being there whenever you needed me. Then I disappeared, and your long-standing habit left you feeling lost. So you started to think I was important, and you started thinking about me all the time. Maybe you couldn't let go of that habit, or maybe you couldn't accept my sudden death, so you mistakenly thought I held a very important place in your heart, that you had fallen in love with me. He opened his mouth, wanting to argue, but nothing came out. I stood up to leave. Julian, you don't love me. You're just trapped by my sudden departure. I never imagined Julian would trap himself in his own obsession for 6 years. As I turned to leave, I heard Julian say, "That's not it." I didn't look back. Julian, I don't hate you. And I never wanted revenge. I just don't love you anymore. Maddie sent me a video call request from Nancy's phone. I declined it. She then sent me a voice message in an incredibly cute tone. Mommy, your baby needs to inform you that she hasn't seen you in several days. If you don't video call your baby, be careful, she might throw a tantrum. I couldn't help but chuckle and replied with a smile. Don't throw a fit just yet. Let Mommy explain. It's not a good time for Mommy right now. How about we video call tomorrow? A moment later, the little one sent another voice message. Okay, then. What time tomorrow? I need to get ready. I thought for a moment and said, tomorrow evening. The little one sent me an okay sticker. Got it. The next day, I had Maria hang a pre-prepared backdrop on the wall. After my 4 drip was done, I put on some light makeup to cover my pale, gaunt face. Only then did I video call Maddie. The moment she saw me, a bright smile spread across her face. Wow, Mommy, you're wearing makeup. You look so pretty. I teased her, so Mommy isn't pretty without makeup? Mommy, I didn't say that. You're super pretty with or without makeup. I smiled and praised her. You're such a sweet talker. The little one was giddy with praise, tilting her chin up and acting cute. She sweetly told me all the ways she missed me. She also reminded me to have fun but also to rest, eat on time, and take my medicine. Nancy laughed that the roles were reversed. It should have been me reminding her. Maddie retorted defiantly, so what? Nancy and Maddie didn't come back. The reality show started filming again. Perhaps Julian had taken my words to heart. But he still believed that Maddie was his child. On the show, he was always trying to get close to Maddie. He would constantly try to coax her into calling him daddy. But Maddie had him filtered through her own lens, always seeing him as the silly uncle. She simply didn't believe that Julian could be her father. One time, she got so fed up with him that she took him to a clinic and asked the doctor to check his brain. That clip went viral, and netizens were howling with laughter. Under Nancy's influence, Maddie was a savvy internet user and kept dropping meme-worthy lines on the show that made viewers laugh. As a result, with her sweet face and hilarious, adorable personality, she attracted a legion of older sister and auntie fans. Their team became the most popular. Nancy's follower count soared as well. Nancy was worried about me, so she had her agent come to the hospital to take care of me when he had free time. Her agent praised Maddie as a little lucky star, saying that brands and producers were already contacting her. I was genuinely happy for Nancy. I told her agent to please take good care of Nancy in the future. Her agent readily agreed. But I was still worried. Nancy said that after I was gone, she would take good care of Maddie. But I felt that with her lively and sometimes childish personality, she was like a child who hadn't grown up herself. Every time she ran into trouble or was short on money, she would cling to me and say that if it weren't for me, she probably would have starved by now. So, really, how could I leave two little kids behind? The first season of the show finished filming after 10 days. My round of chemo also happened to end. So, I managed to get home before them. When the little one came back, the moment she saw me, she ran over on her little legs and threw herself into my arms. Mommy, I missed you so much. You have no idea, these past few days I've been missing you so much I couldn't eat or sleep properly. The next second, Nancy mercilessly exposed her. These past few days, you slept so soundly we couldn't wake you up, and you ate until you were stuffed at every meal. You call that not eating or sleeping properly? When God sprinkled sincerity on the earth, you were the only one who defiantly put up an umbrella, weren't you? Maddie was speechless. Aunt Nancy, if you know something, don't say it out loud. That's how we stay friends. Nancy smiled. All right, I get it. But I'll still do it next time. Maddie was even more speechless. She just ignored her godmother completely. She clung to me, showering me with affection, and wouldn't get down for a long time. Suddenly, as if she remembered something, she climbed down from my arms. First, she pinched my cheek with her chubby little hands, then she pinched my arm. Her expression changed, and she stood with her hands on her hips, staring at me fiercely. Mommy, you didn't take your baby's orders seriously, did you? I was taken aback and chuckled. What's wrong? I told you so many times to take care of yourself, but you didn't listen. You don't even feel as fleshy as before. My expression froze instantly. I couldn't smile anymore. Sick people need to eat more so they can get enough nutrients. That's how they get better faster. If you're so disobedient, when will you ever get better? Those few words filled my mouth with a bitterness I couldn't swallow. A sourness spread from my nose to my heart. I held back, not letting the tears fall. But something was stuck in my throat, and I couldn't speak. Baby, Mommy lied to you. Mommy's sickness, it's not going to get better. The little one was angry. No amount of coaxing could soothe her. Tears streamed down her face. She blamed me for not listening, for not knowing how to take care of myself. Nancy stood beside her, trying to comfort her. Maddie, how could your mom not know how to take care of herself? She probably just had too much fun and forgot. That's why she lost a tiny bit of weight. Can you not be mad at your mommy, please? Yes, how could I not know how to take care of myself? I wanted to take care of myself more than anything. I wanted to have a healthy body, to be strong and watch Maddie grow up. More than once, I asked the doctor about the possibility of curing bone cancer. But mine was already in the late stages. I only had occasional joint pain. I never thought it was that serious. How could it be bone cancer? I knew Maddie was just worried about me, which was why she was so angry and crying. My heart felt both warm and heavy. Tears started streaming down my face too. I held her, apologizing to her, comforting her over and over, promising that I would take good care of myself from now on. She finally calmed down. But the side effects of the medication had destroyed my appetite, and I ate very little each day. When I forced myself to eat more, the nausea often made me vomit. To keep Maddie from worrying, I always forced myself to hold it in until I could get to the bathroom. Nancy had started working again, so she wasn't home during the day. Maddie came to me and said, "Mommy, are there cooking classes for kids? Can you sign me up for one?" I paused and asked her, why the sudden interest in cooking? Maddie folded her hands obediently and said like a little adult, "Aunt Nancy is busy with work during the day, and you're a patient, so you can't cook. So I should learn to cook, and I can do it." I pinched her little cheek. "I'm a patient, not paralyzed. Who says I can't cook? How old are you? Who told you to be so grown up? Besides, by the time you finish cooking classes, kindergarten will be starting." Maddie froze. "Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about kindergarten. Then what do we do? You're sick, and you can't take care of yourself and me at the same time." I playfully patted her a few more times and said with a smile, "Then let's hire a nanny to take care of both of us." Maddie nodded. "Okay, then let's hire a nanny who's a really good cook." Deal. During this time, Julian called me a few times. I didn't answer once. That evening, as Maddie and I were going downstairs, we saw him. He was standing under a tree, tall and slender, with a cold, refined air about him. His dark eyes were deep, staring at us without blinking. Maddie was surprised to see him. "What are you doing here?" Julian didn't answer her. Instead, he looked at me and said in a hoarse voice, "Lainey, can we talk, please?" I was silent for a few seconds, then I told Maddie to wait for me right there. I led Julian to a pavilion a short distance away. Julian refuted what I had said last time. He said it wasn't that he was unaccustomed to my sudden departure and mistook it for love. He said it was only after I left that he realized his feelings for me. The corners of his eyes were red, his Adam's apple bobbed uncontrollably, and his breath trembled. "Lainey, give me a chance. Come back to me, please. This time, there will be no Lindsay between us. I promise I'll cherish you." You probably don't know, but Lindsay became someone's mistress and got beaten and crippled by the man's wife when she found out. I don't love her anymore. The one I like is you. The one I love is you. After he finished, he looked at me with pleading eyes. Hope swirled in his gaze. But my heart was completely still. My voice was very soft, but every word was clear. "Julian, maybe I was wrong about that. But I don't need it anymore. And I stopped loving you a long time ago." Julian froze, as if struck by something sharp. Each word came out with extreme difficulty. "Lainey, I really do love you. Are you really going to leave me? Please, just give me one more chance." I remained unmoved, completely emotionless. He turned to look at Maddie in the distance, as if he saw a glimmer of hope again. "Lainey, I know you've done a great job raising our child on your own, but she needs a father. Please give me a chance. Let me make it up to you both, to love and protect you." I sighed softly and said gently, "Maddie really has no biological connection to you. If you still don't believe me, I can pull out one of her hairs and you can get a DNA test. As for me, maybe you really do love me now." But you also truly, deeply hurt me in the past. With that, I didn't linger. I turned and walked away. That night, he called again. I heard his choked, hoarse voice. Lainey, I'm sorry. I once loved him deeply. But I could also never forget the pain of being hurt. I couldn't tell my past self, it's okay. And I didn't say it to him either. Before bed, Maddie asked me curiously how I knew Julian. Mommy, he's not really my daddy, is he? I shook my head. Of course not. I wasn't lying. Maddie really isn't Julian's child. And she has no biological connection to me either. Maddie's biological mother's name was Janice. I hired a chef who specialized in medicinal cuisine at a high price. Under her care and feeding, both Maddie and I gained several pounds in a month. As a result, Maddie was very pleased with this chef. When she and Nancy were about to leave to film the second season of the show, she specifically instructed the chef to take good care of me. As soon as they left, I paid the chef an extra fee and moved into the hospital with her. Due to the chemotherapy, my hair was falling out in large clumps. So, I just decided to shave it all off. When Maddie came back and saw me, she was completely shocked. Oh my goodness, what are you doing? Mommy, are you going to become a monk? I tapped her little nose and said in a light tone. The medicine Mommy is taking has side effects, and it causes hair loss. It was falling out so much that it looked bad, so Mommy just decided to shave it all off. What do you think? Does Mommy look ugly with a bald head? The little one threw her arms around me and gently patted my back to comfort me. Not ugly at all. It's okay, Mommy. When you get better, your hair will definitely grow back. A lump formed in my throat. I fought back my emotions and gently agreed with her. Yes, Maddie's right. I spent my days counting down. Every time Maddie asked if I was getting better soon, I felt a lump in my throat. Telling a child that her mother is dying. It's just so cruel. But not telling her, when the terrible news finally arrives, how is that not just as cruel? The reality show was filmed in 3 installments, each lasting 10 days. The third installment was scheduled for early October. The holiday break gave them a perfect 10-day window. After they left, I went back to the hospital for chemotherapy as usual. But this time, the devastating news came. After the scans, it was clear the cancer cells had spread extensively. The doctor said that whether I continued with chemo or not, it wouldn't make a difference. To be honest, I could feel what was happening to my body. But hearing the doctor's diagnosis, I couldn't hold back my tears. I'm not even 30. How can I be leaving this world? Why has my life been filled with so much bitterness? I finally had a life full of hope. Why is this happening to me? After the initial wave of grief, I gradually found a sense of calm. Since death was the inevitable outcome, I chose to prepare myself and face it with dignity. Time will fade all feelings. So, I decided to record a lot of videos. I would tell Maddie that my illness required treatment abroad. After I die, Nancy could show her a video every once in a while. When she's a bit older, and the time is right, she can be told the truth. I promised Janice at her grave that I would take care of Maddie and raise her. Now, I can only entrust that to Nancy. The painkillers had long stopped working. I asked the doctor to increase the dosage, but even then, it didn't help much. It still hurt. A soul-crushing, bone-deep pain. Every time the pain hit, I could only endure it, trying not to frown or show any expression. I was afraid Maddie would see, afraid she would be scared. But it hurt so much, a pain that nearly tore me apart. I had to send Maddie away and hide in my room to suffer alone. Thankfully, Maddie was at school during the day, which gave me some time to breathe. Despite the help of the medicinal meals, I was losing weight rapidly, my body failing. I had no choice but to tell Maddie my condition had worsened a bit. She immediately threw her arms around me, tears rolling down her cheeks. Perhaps she was so terrified of losing me that she panicked, opening her smartwatch to call 911. I stopped her, my face pale, my breath trembling. "Maddie, the doctors here might not be able to treat Mommy's illness anymore. So, Mommy might have to go abroad for treatment. Mommy will go get better and then come back. You'll be a good girl and stay with Aunt Nancy, okay?" The little one nodded frantically, her face a mess of tears and snot. "Okay, Mommy, you go get treatment. Get better and come back." I held her, my own tears flowing uncontrollably. My throat felt like it was being scorched by hot coals. "Baby, I'm so sorry. Mommy has to lie to you again. I hope when you grow up and find out, you can forgive me." Our home was to the west of Maddie's kindergarten. So, Nancy rented an apartment in a complex to the east of the school. She hired another caregiver to look after me. During the day, our home caregiver would take Maddie to school, and Nancy would come over to be with me. At night, she would have the caregiver look after me while she went back to be with Maddie. Maddie called and texted me every day. She asked all sorts of questions about how my treatment was going, when I would be better. She always wanted to video call. But I always refused. My body was deteriorating rapidly. I was sallow and emaciated, a horrible sight. I was afraid of scaring her. She always said she missed me so much, that she just wanted to see me. I used the excuse that the doctor told me not to use my phone and started contacting her less frequently. But I would often have Nancy or the caregiver push me in my wheelchair to the kindergarten gate to watch her. Eventually, I stopped going to see her. The agony of the cancer pain became unbearable. Watching me suffer, Nancy cried day and night. She would hold me, her voice choked with sobs. I wanted to wipe away her tears. But it hurt so much. It felt like my bones had been hollowed out and filled with acid that was eating me away. In the end, I couldn't wipe away her tears. I had so much left to say. I wanted to say, "Maddie, Mommy's leaving now. You have to grow up healthy and happy." I wanted to say, "Nancy, thank you for always being by my side. Meeting you was the luckiest thing that ever happened to me." I wanted to say. Epilogue. Lainey is gone. She wanted to be there for Maddie's 6th birthday. But she didn't make it. I met her our first year of high school. She was always trailing behind Julian Booth. I knew what he meant to her, so I never tried to talk her out of marrying him. Later, she was diagnosed with stomach cancer. She didn't tell me. She just hid away in a small town, waiting to die. She was afraid of making me sad, so she didn't want me to handle her affairs. She told me she had thought about donating her organs, which would have meant someone would have had to claim her body. But then she worried that since she died of cancer, her organs might carry diseased cells. She had already bought a burial plot in that town. She had even found someone to handle her body. But then she found out she wasn't going to die after all. And she met Janice. Janice was beautiful. But she was also introverted, sensitive, and had very low self-esteem. Lainey told me Janice was an orphan. She had grown up depending on the charity of others. Later, she met a boy and began a secret, one-sided love affair. But her sense of self-worth was so low that she never dared to confess her feelings, never dared to get close to him. She could only admire him from afar. At a college party, by some accident, they slept together. Afterward, Janice ran away. Not long after, she discovered she was pregnant. But she chose to have the baby. She and Lainey met in that small town and became friends. They lived together for over a year. One day, when Lainey accompanied her to the hospital for Maddie's checkup, an accident happened. A mentally ill patient started attacking people with a knife. Janice, in order to save Lainey, was stabbed more than a dozen times and died on the spot. The blow to Lainey was immense. But for Maddie's sake, she pulled herself together. At Janice's grave, she promised to raise Maddie as her own. From then on, Maddie became Lainey's child. As for Maddie's biological father, Janice never mentioned him. Lainey's life was too hard. It was heartbreaking. If I was even a little bit kind to her, she would repay me tenfold. Many times, I felt I didn't deserve her kindness. But she would say, "Nancy, I'm good to you because you're good to me, because you're always thinking of me and protecting me." She said, "Nancy, you're the one who's truly good." Maddie doesn't know Lainey is gone. She still sends messages and calls Lainey's phone every day. Even though she never gets a reply, she tirelessly shares her daily life and all the funny things that happen. And I, from time to time, use Lainey's phone to send her one or two of the pre-recorded voice messages and videos. Maddie never suspected a thing. Until her birthday. I sent her the video Lainey had recorded in advance, wishing her a happy birthday. After watching it, Maddie didn't smile at all. Instead, she looked up at me, her eyes welling with tears, and asked, "Aunt Nancy, Mommy's sickness, it didn't get better, did it? She's not coming back, is she?" I froze and instinctively said, "No, of course not. Your mommy will come back." Maddie didn't believe me. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Aunt Nancy, please don't lie to me. In all these videos Mommy sent, she's sitting in the same spot, and the things next to her are almost exactly the same. Please tell me, is Mommy already? This little girl is just too smart." As she looked at me with her tear-filled eyes, I didn't know how I could possibly keep lying to her. A wave of sorrow and bitterness washed over me, and I started crying too. "Maddie, I'm so sorry. Aunt Nancy lied to you. Your mommy's sickness, it didn't get better. She's not coming back." In an instant, Maddie's crying intensified. She wailed, heartbroken and devastated. My own heart felt like it was being torn apart. I held her, gently patting her back. She cried for a long, long time, begging to see her mommy. So, I took her to Lainey's grave. She stared at the photo of Lainey on the headstone and began to cry again. She hugged the cold stone, crying for a long, long time.